All right, getting the thumbs up from everybody. Just making sure we're streaming. All right, looking good. Okay, let's go ahead and get started. All right, starting off with our SPY. I forgot to do the most important part, the intro. It's March 23rd, 2021. My name is Jared, and this is Engineering the Markets. Let's get started. Okay, so market perspective from the SPY. We did see Friday's doji sort of potential for a bounce candle did play itself out fairly well yesterday. So we did see some bullish momentum off of what is now the 20 acting as support. Usually when you see a pullback, you see your indecision on higher volume, and you look for some sort of directionality based on a breakout or breakdown from this candle. A lot of that was done by mostly the tech sector. We also saw some strength in discretionaries and in a few smaller sectors, but notably there wasn't a full, I would say, bullish press across the market. There were some sectors selling off. There's a lot of weakness in certain sectors that have been strong, and therefore we saw sort of a rotation of some sectors starting to get better and some sectors looking worse. For our time frame, we saw that push, and we're actually seeing somewhat of a fade this morning. Excuse me. So from this fade, we want to see really if the bulls can kind of hold at this point. That push yesterday was on certain strength in certain sectors, and therefore if other sectors cannot pick up any sort of strength today, the potential for this fade to occur is relatively likely. We're kind of getting into some congestion from previous sessions, and we're pushing off of the 200 on the 4-hour. So now with this breakout, can they just hold support and start to stair step through levels of interest that we've marked on our charts? Just looking at the 1-hour quick perspective on the volume profile, we see that 389 continues to be VPOC. We had a push from value yesterday. We got close to the high end of the range, sort of an area of congestion past week. And then we pulled down into another area of congestion right at the top of our value profile. So really the perspective remains about the same. We have some potential for short-term pushes to value, and this was 394. We actually pretty much got there on a dime yesterday on that bullish push. So we got to our target, and this is going from low end of the range to the target, which is VPOC. We pulled down into the larger term time frame value, and now can we push through? Going back to why we were so strong yesterday, we're going to take a look at the Qs. The Qs had a very aggressive push to the upside. We did break through on the daily. We broke through the 20, and we're using the 50 as sort of an area of potential resistance. One day of buying does not a bullish trend make, but overall, it was a good showing from the tech sector and from some of the more growth-oriented sectors. We also had our thesis that 310, 311 is our support zone. It's a range that we're trying to hold, and so far the range has held. So now we're smack dab in the middle of the range. 180-day 4-hour, we saw that push, large candle, resting, and then now we're pulling back a little bit further. A little bit harder to interpret whether this will continue. I think we want to see more volume come in overall. And this was also present on the daily, where the breakout did have some decent volume, but relative to some of the pull down volume, it was lacking. So can the bulls kind of step in mid-range and break us out of the top end range? We're still using the 200 as a zone of resistance. It's something that ultimately we want to see them clear the 200 and maybe back test it, and that could easily be a higher area for us to break out of 325. Obviously, if they can't, we can see this rolling over action tends to occur at the 200, and we've seen it multiple times in the past. So always want to keep that in mind. 30-day 1 hour volume profile, we're actually sitting right at value. Thesis from yesterday was the push from the low end, 310, 311 to VPOC. We didn't really have the VA low to utilize at that point, but we were using a support zone in this ETF. And now that we've gotten to VPOC, we actually got significantly higher, all the way to 320. It looks like they're pulling back down the value. So what we want to see now is, okay, you broke through, you're back testing. Can you get us to 323 VA high? And then intraday perspective, we are seeing value starting to rise in this perspective. And that just simply means that as less and less days from the past are included, more and more value recently has been at higher prices. So 313 is now VPOC on the 10-day 30-minute. We're sitting at the VA high. Overall, this is a fairly bullish look. I would say that if we're able to go from VPOC to the VA high and we can break above the VA high, there is potential to get back to basically resistance zones. And we have that marked at 324.2, a recent pivot high, and then our 325, just our range high. So shifting over to the IWM, I'm going to go through this one briefly because I do want to give some context here. A little bit of weakness in IWM overall. We did hold the 20 on Friday, but there was selling in the IWM on Monday. Volume really didn't come in on that selling, so it was basically more of a fade from Friday's highs. And ultimately, we're still in an area of contention. We do want to see, a little bit more follow through in one direction or another, given that we're at this channel support, we're at this downtrend back test, and we're at the 20 on the daily. So it's an area of interest. Now, what we're seeing this morning is more selling. We've actually broken through the low of Friday in the pre-market. So we extend this downtrend out and we're coming right into it. So obviously this is not a great look overall. We certainly wanted the bulls to hold at higher prices. Now that they're pulling down even deeper, we would ultimately say, well, if they were to bounce it, we would have a lot of resistance to prove at this point. And we wouldn't expect the bounce to necessarily target the all-time high. We'd have to look for, I would say, more conservative targets. Or we could obviously, be bearish into some of these resistances that are now forming. And that's very similar to trading the range and the Qs. 30-day, let's see where value sits. 226, so we're moving away from value. This is a bearish look. We've lost some aspect of support on that daily uptrend, and now we're kind of really at a last line of defense before we could have a pretty significant drawdown all the way back to 215 potentially with some of these low points that we hit, and that's a longer term bearish target. And value on the shortest time frame, 227.5, we'll call it. We are sitting at the VA low of the range. So if we get momentum here and we can get back into this range, the bullish target would be conservative at VPOC, 227.5. 227.5 is kind of acting like 390 in the SPY. It seems as if the market really likes this area. So let me take this off and just mark. Essentially, we want to mark this mostly because the market has shown that this has been a lot of interest in the market. So we've seen inflections here, and we've seen a lot of value placed here. We've seen notable bounces here. We'll see if that changes over time as this is starting to form more and more bearish. Okay, so yesterday we saw that sector rotation, and this was fairly evident in some of our main sectors. So we had XLK. I'll pull this up. So we had strong bullish momentum in XLK. We also saw XLY give us a little bit of a push off of Friday's bounce. Notable drawdown in the afternoon session. So we kind of gave back a lot of what we gained in that session. We also saw things that were strong continue to pull back, things like energy. Energy has been on a pretty good move recently. So we've had some very strong pushes down mid-30s to mid-50s. And the perspective on the long term is that we were kind of running into longer term resistance. It was not a great place to get long per se, but this is a sector of interest if we got that pullback. So now we're going to look and see, you know, we made significant highs. We're getting a pullback. Now we're looking at support. We want to see something like this hold, or maybe something like the 50 hold on energy. Financials, same story. We've had 3 days of selling in financials. And if I look at the lower time frame, we're actually opening lower. So we may even see more selling today. Financials basically hit a wall at this point. We had some commentary from the Fed and some indication that certain advantageous programs were expiring or halting in the financials. So we did see a drawdown in financials off of that news. And that's coming off of a very significant breakout and a significant push in financials. So once again, this drawdown was needed. It's probably going to be a little deeper than most of us expect. But ultimately, this is a bullish looking sector from the perspective of we have broken all-time highs. And when we broke all-time highs, we had a lot of follow through. So in some point in this area, we're going to be looking to get long financials off of what is now a back test of the breakout point. And another sector worthy to note, given that we're seeing names like Facebook, names like Google continue to really shine in this sector rotation back into tech, quote unquote, communications. So amidst all of the selling and just the notable resistance into support pullbacks of the Qs, communications has held up very, very well. We've actually not even come back to the 20. You know, getting long here is a little bit of a sort of high risk, high reward. We could easily explode higher from here, but the drawdown could be significant. You know, we're kind of looking at previous breakout points as a support level. So we want to stay a little cautious in this area. And one of the reasons we want to do that is, excuse me. I'm not going to fight my cough, but it is showing up. So names like Viacom, and I would say to a similar degree, the Discovery Channel have been on explosive parabolic moves recently. So we have seen Viacom give us potential for some topping action around 100. Big pullback. We're actually coming back to back test that 100-ish point. And what we're seeing this morning is they're actually drawing away from 100. So communications was looking great, but there is some potential that some of these smaller names in the XLC could give us some hesitation. You know, the fact that they were so parabolic, the fact that the drawdowns could be larger than expected. We don't necessarily want to fight that, and we want to be patient if we are looking to get long communication. Now there are some stars in this one as well. I would say stocks like Disney have been holding up fairly well. We did get a pullback near the 200 area, and we're looking to see if this can maybe, you know, break through the 20 once again. We also filled the gap, which is a nice reparative operation from a structure perspective. And then, you know, I keep bringing them up: Google, Facebook, pretty much all of them looking relatively strong, with the exception of Google fading from these highs, or this chop. I do want to see Google maybe prove it a little bit more, but it has been holding well. Facebook is really the notable exception, the breakout. So some other areas of interest, we've seen utilities showcase a little bit of a bullish momentum push off of what was a low end range back at the beginning of March. We are seeing a pullback in utilities, and we're forming essentially that doji structure where there's a little bit of indecision. We're not getting a ton of volume to really help us out, but this may give us a clue if they want to keep going higher and sort of break out from this retracement, or if they want to just kind of consolidate. And we can see that we have a lot of moving averages to kind of clean up from a bullish perspective. So not really seeing anything in pre-market per se. And then another thing to mention, and it's relevant for some of the ETFs we've been looking at, so I did want to bring it up. A lot of these ETFs have had dividends as of late. So while we are looking at price levels, we're looking for sort of volume shelves and areas of interest to go long, go short, be bearish, be bullish, be conservative, etc. There's a little bit of a skew of the price levels during the dividend because of the price adjustment that has to take place during the dividend payout. Things like SPY had their dividend on Friday. So we saw sort of a triple witching, quadruple witching, whatever. We also saw dividend payouts, and that's why using that doji was kind of nice to just give us a clue if they want to go higher or lower from that large value zone. And the Qs have had theirs yesterday. So the Qs, it's less impactful because the yield is so low. But for SPY, for some of these ETFs, XLU, and honestly, a lot of them should be yesterday: XLC, XLF, XLE. So pretty much, I'm not sure if all of them have it, but a lot of them do. We want to take that into account because some of the weakness that we saw might be due to that dividend payout. So, God, man, sometimes when you have a cough, it's really hard to get rid of it. So it's more of a dryness in my throat I'm trying to clear. But anyway, so looking at today, you know, I'm kind of on the fence about a few things because we did see tech light back up. That was undeniable that tech had a really great day. And we did get a push in stocks like Apple. Very strong trend day in Apple. We saw Microsoft, notably, I would say even stronger sort of trend day. We're kind of caught between horizontal resistance and a uptrending support. And, you know, just across the board, we saw some decent price action in stocks that carry market cap. Amazon was looking good. We saw semiconductors come back a little bit. So NVIDIA had a nice push. I think AMD had a decent day. And the one that I was actually looking at was stocks like MU. That one actually didn't perform super well, but it did hold the 20. Yeah, and just overall, there was some significant amount of bullish momentum in tech. So basically, the first sign of life in a while off of that support zone. And we saw a reason for that being potentially the 10-year dropping, the 10-year yield specifically. So it looks like we put in some sort of temporary top for the time being. We did open slightly higher yesterday, and we sort of faded from the price action on Friday. And then it looks like we're actually opening lower. So TLT, which is tracking to some degree the yield of shorter term bonds, the bottoming action here has been evident. You know, we've seen decent bullish volume. We've seen multiple candles, 1, 2, 3, you know, sort of trending to the upside from a low point. And when it comes to tech, if this is sort of the only correlation that we can draw, where lower yields and therefore higher bond prices are leading to bullish tech or bullish growth names, then really we just want to kind of play this correlation as long as it exists. Anytime we see the potential for topping action in the yields, the idea of maybe getting back into tech, and that could be sort of a short-term thesis, 1, 2, 3 days, especially if tech is at a support zone, you know, that could provide some great risk to reward. Same idea to the downside. If tech is correlated so heavily to this, and we see yields all of a sudden explode back to the upside, well, then maybe we want to short tech or start to profit from a long tech exposure, and just use that correlation just to go back and forth between what we know is support and what we know is resistance in a lot of these names. If this continues, however, and we see yields basically fade from this point for the next couple of weeks, if this is a pretty significant topping action, then I would expect to see tech have a lot of follow through based on what we saw yesterday. So, you know, I'd want to see Apple just, you know, continue to push up here, get us back to 130. I'd want to see stocks like Microsoft break through resistance and get us back to all-time high. I'd want to see Tesla show some sort of conviction. We've seen Tesla oscillate between roughly 650. You know, we kind of broke through that and we pulled back above, and I would say roughly 700. So a lot of just consolidation in this name. And if we want to expose ourselves directionally to any of these names, and it's not intraday, you know, if we're doing something more of a swing, we certainly want sort of all hands on deck in one direction. So we want a correlated yield environment to where we're seeing yields just sort of collapse from this point. And then we'd want to see notable names that we've already seen give us some sign of life start to liven back up. And then we also want to be careful of some of the names that have been parabolic. So stocks like Facebook and Google, while they have been holding, are at risk of some of the smaller names pulling back harder than expected. So an overall drawdown in the communication sector, if a stock like Viacom, Discovery Channel, or even something like Disney, which does hold some weight, Comcast would be another one, CSA. Comcast actually looking pretty great on the daily. So we saw nice bullish momentum, draw down to the 20 after an all-time high and a breakout. That's usually a great buy. That's usually a great area to consider. And we've seen that time and time again in this this bullish environment. So Comcast is also all-time high. So, you know, there's no resistance here. We do have the weekly to be concerned with, but daily uptrends can provide some opportunity before the weekly pull down can occur. That would be closer to this area here. So opportunities abound, I would say, especially in notable tech names that a lot of us like to trade. I would also keep an eye on financials. If you're using SPY as any sort of indicator, what we're seeing is that once again, tech is starting to come alive and financials, energy, industrials are starting to fall out of favor. XLI probably holding up better than the other two, financials and energy, but we did see the potential for some topping action. And with the SPY, because it's diversified, we want to see either everything on deck, everything in one direction. Those can be great, sort of very volatile but very strong trend days, or we want to see one sector overcoming the weakness in others. And that will be a little bit choppier, a little bit harder to read, but overall, you can at least get a couple of conservative targets out of that. If you see essentially some chop in tech or some weakness in tech and everything else is pointing down, it's going to be very challenging for the SPY to really do anything to the upside because there's nothing of note pushing us higher. You'd have to look to sectors like healthcare, which is this healthcare, right? I always forget healthcare. Yes. Yeah, so you'd have to see sectors like healthcare start to liven up. And actually, this is a decent look because we pulled back into the range and we had a pretty strong day yesterday. I'd like to see more volume, but overall, we are starting to break through some of these topping tail. Seemed like a lot of congestion in this area. And without looking much deeper, the target would probably be the top end of the range. So, yeah, you know, Tuesday, turnaround day in some respect. I definitely want to see if tech can hold. Tech is really where the eyes are on at the moment. But I'm also keeping watch on financials and energy because the selling really hasn't stopped there. Crude has been notably pulling back pretty hard. Natural gas is not offering much of an opportunity, maybe just a dip buy at the 200, but you know, it's been relatively weak over the past 2 months. And then something like heating oil, which kind of tracks crude a little bit closely if you're unfamiliar, that's also seeing a lot of weakness, a very significant drawdown. So yeah, I definitely want to get more clarity in this market, but the synopsis that I would kind of bring into today is that we saw some activity in tech. It was likely due to the yields pulling down from their highs. Can it continue? And if it continues to aggressively, will financials be hurt in such a way that the SPY will be very I would say very rotated into. So tech would have to pull pretty much the SPY back up while financials are selling off. We're not seeing both of them be bullish or both of them be bearish. They're just swapping sides each time. So that said, you know, today we'll kind of see how the things shake out. It was one session to analyze from the weekly perspective, but we are seeing some things change, and we want to see if this was just a one-off or if it's going to be the thesis moving forward. So with that said, my name's Jared. We're going to hand it off to Carlos and Norm for pre-market prep today, and look forward to chatting with y'all tomorrow. Yeah, happy trading, happy Tuesday, and keep it green.
All right. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the pre-market prep. I hope everyone's having an amazing morning. Hope you had a great day yesterday. Good morning, Norm. How are you doing today?
Good morning, buddy. I'm doing well. How are you?
Doing good. Doing good. Thank you.
Good.
All right, guys. Happy Tuesday. Let's get started here. Let's look at some of the plays we had on our list yesterday, starting with Tesla. Let's get into our 5-minute chart right over here, and we'll go zoom in right in this area here. So guys, we knew Tesla probably one of the best trading pre-market actions that we had yesterday. Not a lot was looking great, and we knew coming into yesterday's trading day that we had to be exceptionally careful, just because of the way things were moving the day Friday before, right? It just had to be careful. We expected there could be some chop. Not a lot was looking great. Tesla here, guys, a bit of a pop right out of the gates. Looked like it was going to be strong, but then gets a nice rejection around 692. And you can see the drop here coming down towards the VWAP, and then some more down to some lows of the day. And also didn't get to the low of the pre-market, but it definitely did try hitting some of these areas right on here. As you know, Tesla was actually red and went green. So again, didn't go all the way down there to that previous day close and then lower. So did find a nice little bottom here, and it did have a beautiful double bottom as well around that 10:30 time frame. You can see that right on here. Does hit the VWAP, and then a beautiful continuation towards the high of the day. So that was nice. You got another pullback to the moving average, and again another push up. So Tesla actually traded very, very well. If you was able to survive this opening pop and drop here that it did pretty quickly, you was able to catch some good opportunities in the mid morning from 10:30 or so all the way up to 1 o'clock. And then after that gets really, really toppy. I'm not sure if this did a mountain pass over here. I'll have to ask Peter on that. But again, definitely a reversal pattern here down to the VWAP, and then just couldn't get above the moving average. And then look at this drop toward at the power hour at 4 o'clock here. Just insane drop all the way down past the low of the day into this previous day close line. So again, pretty exciting stuff on Tesla yesterday. Very active. Here was NEO. NEO was actually a little bit, it was okay, a little bit choppy at the open at first. You got this one pop, but then did not last long, did get engulfed pretty quickly. And look at this beautiful drop here you get on NEO. Now, I did look at the price action here, guys. It was not as clean. It looks very good now for a possible short opportunity, but the price action wasn't all that clean looking at it live, right? So it was a little bit tough to take that trade, even though it was selling down very nicely here. Does find a bottom, again, similar to Tesla, gets a little of a double bottom on here, does get a continuation. That was a nice play as well. And then throughout the day, just kept swinging back and forth between the moving averages and the VWAP, right? So it didn't really, it was tough to take that trade because you're bouncing below and above the VWAP. That's not easy to do. And then again at 3 o'clock, you're getting this drop again we got in a lot of stocks yesterday at that power hour. So that was NEO. RLX also got a drop. Again, I saw the price action on here was not that clean, very difficult to take a short on this one. CAN was another one that was very, very choppy at the open, guys, but it did sell down the entire day. So if you were able to get a good entry in this fake out here of the VWAP, got a couple of pullbacks there. If you were able to get a good entry, this could have been very, very nice trade, but you had to really be patient, hold on to this one because it took a while to really start losing it and get going. So here's Plug as well. Plug was a little bit choppy on my end as well. Again, not easy to trade. Every candle overlapping the previous candle, although you're on a downtrend. These pullbacks are very, very aggressive. So again, pretty tough of morning for a lot of stocks here, as we knew we were going to get a lot of that going into this this trading week. Norm, what do we have going on as far as the SPY?
Yeah, so Jared went over a lot of it, but I'll just quickly say, yesterday we had bond yields pull back, which helped the NASDAQ, specifically tech stocks, bounce higher yesterday. They were the strongest that we had. Yields pulling back a little bit more this morning. So we're seeing I would essentially call this flat on what we're seeing right now. So we'll see if we continue from Monday's rally, or if we're just going to consolidate here. The one thing I will say, you've got Jay Powell and Treasury Secretary Yellen testifying today and tomorrow. That starts at noon today. So hopefully that doesn't make things just dead before that. It's usually not as bad as when there's an FOMC decision and policy decision and Q&A like we had last week, but it could and it could move things. So just a heads up that's going on today.
Yep, absolutely. All right, guys, let's take a look at our gappers list, which
you missed TCAT, by the way. Recapping TCAT from
yesterday. Yes, we did talk a lot about TCAT, although we did not recap it. Yeah, let's bring TCAT here. This was let's hold on a second, right on here, guys. Just insane. We were talking about this in the chat room as it was breaking out. Let's get the 5 minute in here. There we go. This is yesterday's action. Yep, here it is. Again, just insane. It was fun to watch. I did not take a trade on this, Norm. Did you? Did you find anything good on here?
No.
No,
I didn't trade it.
It's tough.
I wish I would have.
I wish I would have too. Yeah,
but I didn't.
Yeah, it's tough to take a trade on these. I gotta admit, even when they're running like this, and even when you feel the sense, this can go here. Stocks like this are just difficult to trade because you gotta be in a I don't know. I don't say you have to be crazy, but you have to be so careful to take a trade on these. So be mindful.
I won't. I mean, I'm staying away, steering clear of TCAT. They had that news halt the other day.
Yeah.
Whether or not this company is legit or has issues or anything, whenever I've seen a news halt, the company come out with a press release saying that they have no idea why their stock price is up, it's usually not a good thing.
Yeah.
And I don't want to get stuck in some longer term halt, because as we know and as we've seen, what was the one? It was Hunt.
It was
Hunt.
It was Hunt. Yes.
Hunt.
Let's see.
Same thing. They had a.
It's not even coming up anymore.
Oh no, it won't. It's not a ticker anymore.
Okay, there you
go. Hunt. What was that? 2 years ago, I think. About this, it was the spring of maybe 2019. I can't even remember what these guys did, but their stock price popped for a day or two. Mm-hmm. They came out, they got halted. They had a press release saying they have no idea why their stock price is going up. And then I think it was the next day or a day later, they were then halted on news of an SEC investigation to never reopen again. So if you do that, whether you get any of your money back or not, it can be tied up for months, and I don't want to do that.
Yeah, I agree. It's not fun, that's for sure. Guys, if you cannot see my screen,
David, LK was a little bit of a different scenario, but yeah, same deal there, David. I mean, it's similar. I mean, exact same kind of halt and everything. Mm-hmm. Circumstances slightly different, but that's another great example of that. That would suck.
Yeah.
You plan on a 5 minute, trade, 15 minute trade, depending on, your style, your strategy, and your capital's tied up for 3 months.
Mm-hmm.
Ugh, no, thank you.
Yeah, this took place June 26th, right here. Has never traded after that. So insane.
Well, it went to the pink sheets.
Well, yeah, and we knew that was coming. You called it out several times with the way it was trading. The news was coming out. It was just a matter of time, and there it was. Right, guys, let's get to it. Let's see what we have here. TCAT leading the way. Just speaking of this one this morning, they are up 23%, guys. Again, just insane. Look at this thing. Just 5 days ago, this thing is sitting at $5. We're at 60.50. Again, guys, just be very careful if you're going to be trading this. We'll put it here on a low risky, very, very risky pile of stocks. 6.1 million shares flow, so be mindful of that. And so far, only 429,000 shares traded, so not a whole lot of volume. The spread is out of control. Again, I'm putting here for entertainment purposes only, but that's about it. ORMP, this one this morning, they are up 20%. 1.4 right now. It looks like they were up even higher, giving a little bit back this morning after 6 o'clock. Looks like what's the float on this? 22, so slightly outside of the 20 million shares float that we like to consider low flow stock, but I will still put this one as a low flow, guys. We want to be careful with this one. It is up nicely today. Some good volume.
Have a strong catalyst. They've got a candidate for a COVID vaccine that is administered orally. I don't know if it's a pill or a liquid or what, but so they're working on that. They announced something this morning with a partner they have, and that's the news there.
Yeah, so that looks really good. And their pre-market action is actually pretty clean, although we have dropped here a little bit. They got great volume, 1.4, up 22%. Yeah, this could be interesting. We'll keep, actually, it's we got to keep it on the risky pile because just the way the price is moving here. I was going to say let's put it on our main list, but we got to be careful with the number of shares on this one. But I do like stocks like that do have a catalyst behind it that they could trade very well. Here's Mogo. They are up 8.4. Not a great pre-market action right now. 883,000 shares traded. They are not a low flow stock, but their daily is a little bit wacky here. As you can see in February, they're starting to get a little bit more action going. I don't know. I'm on the fence on this one. Normally, I would not add a stock like this one on my list. Is there any news on this one, Norm?
Yeah, I believe they announced an acquisition. They have earnings after the bell tonight, I believe, as well. So,
okay, interesting. Let's take a look at this a little further, see how that's going to play. They have great volume. Their pre-market action is not great. Their daily is not great. Let's see what happens. All right, heading on down, we do have YVR. This one is a 8.6 million shares float. So another low flow stock here. Today's up 15%, 3.8 million. They have a couple of days where they popped up pretty good. So for a low flow stock, not bad with the pre-market action in their daily. Let's see if they got another continuation in them today. We'll add it to our list. Next, we have Run, 190 million shares float. I'm concerned here with the price action and also with the spread. Usually these type of stocks that have such a large float like this and are a little bit scary with the way they're trading. They're not getting enough volume here as well. Only 7 million looks like to be their regular volume, and they could run, guys. Look at this. 77 all the way up to 84 with just 14 million shares traded.
That's pretty nasty.
That is scary. Yeah, and that's what you're going to see. You're going to see a nasty spread when you see that type of movement with such little volume. So I'm not going to add. Yeah, go ahead.
They got an upgrade. They got an upgrade out of Goldman this morning. That's their catalyst.
So again, could be interesting, guys. I'm just really concerned with this 20 cents plus spread here. Actually, more like 40 cents, 50 cents here. You can see there's almost nothing here at the moment. We know this is the pre-market action is going to get better, but looking at their daily, looks like this is how they typically trade. Let's put a possible on this one. Let's put it as a possible. We'll come back and see if that's getting any better. SPRT has been on our list quite a bit. Today they're up 3.1 million shares traded. It was up huge yesterday, but did not trade very well. Look at this here. This is not looking good at all into the market open. You can see how nasty some of these pops and drops are. So a bit concerning. Possible continuation today, even towards the downside. This thing wants to sell off, could be interesting. But their pre-market right now is just again, I don't like what I'm seeing here. They have great volume, but it just seems to be very, very choppy. If it trade like it did yesterday, it's not going to be worth watching. Lissy is another one we've seen before here, a former stock that we looked at that has popped up. Today they're up 2.9. Not enough volume for this low flow stock sitting at 10 million. We need a lot more than 286. So we'll skip on it for now. Here's OLDE. This one was also on our list a couple of days ago as well. Gapping up 2.7, just not enough volume at the moment. The pre-market is really all over the place. They are not a low flow stock. They're sitting at 28 million. But again, just not looking good right now on the daily or on the pre-market for the most part. So let's skip on that for now. All right, let's see what's gapping down today. FREQ. Let's just pick one. There we go. FRAQ. They are down 72%. Wow. That is a nice drop here. 1.4 million shares traded. Their flow is sitting at 30 million shares float there. Huge drop today. For the most part, they don't get great volume. Today, they have the more volume than they trade on the regular days, right? So again, big drops in for them this morning. Their pre-market action is not looking good, though, although you're getting 1.4. Well, let's hope this pre-market action gets a little bit better. I'm going to put it as a possible here for now. Let's come back to that.
They had a drug failure in a trial, so
that is not good news.
That's pretty common on these biotechs. Yeah. That's especially the smaller ones. That's why I'm really hesitant to ever buy anything longer term that's any single name in biotech. That's why it's a risky game right there.
Yeah, it sure is, guys. I mean, you wake up this morning and you're down 72%. That is not fun. Here's a ANIX this morning. Right now down 24%. Not a whole lot of volume for the most part. 23 million shares float. Pre-market action is not looking great. We'll skip on this one for now. Here's Ions.
Secondary anyway.
Okay, so yeah, horrible news on top of that. Ions down 20% this morning. Also, not a lot of volume, so we'll skip on it. Not a low flow stock, guys, but just look at the volume here. We're not getting anything great. I love this drop, and maybe that can create some movement. But what we're seeing here, if you look at the stock and it's daily, they don't trade a whole lot of volume neither, and that's so important for the way we trade. We need that volume there. Here's JFIN this morning. They are down 11.2, 352,000 shares traded. They were up huge yesterday. They had a huge day, looks like here, opening up around 750 looks like, and all the way up to 15. Let's see here. Here we go. This was yesterday's action. Very active. What's the news today, Norm? You have anything going on this?
NFTs.
Oh, this is one of those. Okay, gotcha. All right, yeah, be careful with these guys. Again, volume's not great at the moment. Hopefully they can get some good volume here. But again, I'll put this next to TCAT here. You just want to be very careful. Here's MP. Right now they're down 7.4, 122,000 shares traded. Their daily is just very, very choppy. It's really all over the place here. I do not like what I see there. Their pre-market action is not looking any better, so I'm going to skip on that for now. QS is one that we had a good couple of days on this one right here when it was breaking out. It popped up. It gives a beautiful continuation, some great intraday trading. After that, I have not really watched this, so I'm not sure how it has been. Looks like yesterday had a nice breakout, but yeah, look at how this broke out though. That's not great there. Yeah, I'm gonna skip on it for now. Let's see if it gets better. I know you guys will be watching that one. If you are, let us know. Here's VIAC. This is down 5.6, 172. Now we've seen this one before. It does not trade well at all. It is very, very choppy. Again, they're 172,000 right now, down nicely this morning. But I've seen this stock before. I don't like the way it trades, so I'm not going to add it to my list. If you do, if you've been successful with it, by all means, add it. Just be careful with two things: the spread on this one and the volume. Sometimes they don't get great volume, so be very careful there. All right, AMC, what's going on here? AMC is down 5.4. Remember you guys were talking about AMC for this breakout here. This was a big rejection for AMC. Unfortunately, they were not able to get this breakout, and you can see here the drop that we're getting. Obviously, the market is probably helping them with that a little bit. It has not been great, but their pre-market action today looks really good. 1.7. They're went as low as 11.31 here. Now they're up a little bit. Could be interesting on AMC. I'll add this one on here. Let's see what we can get out of that. I do like the volume on this one. I do love the daily. It is very clean, actually. If you look at this daily as far as level support and resistance, let's see what AMC can give us today. Heading down, W key. W key is a low flow stock at 6.5. I don't see anything great as far as pre-market action and volume, so we'll skip on this one. Let's just see here. CAN. CAN was decent yesterday. Today they're not doing a whole lot. Go ahead.
I think it was yesterday, AMC, and sorry, I'm going back. I didn't haul it out in time to get it. There was an analyst, and I can't remember who it was out of. They put a 1 cent price target, 12-month price target on AMC. I'm not saying it was just it was kind of funny. Not zero,
that is hilarious.
Just 1 penny.
That is hilarious. I seen a couple of targets at 7, right, from a lot of banks. They have it at 7. You just never know. This stock, I mean,
$7, right?
$7.
Not
Yeah, not
7 cents.
7 cents, $7.
Okay.
Um, but a penny. That's great. All right. So what else we have? I'm gonna stop here, guys. I think we have quite a bit to go through. Norm, what do you like this morning on your end?
Still looking around. Neo and the EVs, the Chinese EVs, XPEV. There's some word of them maybe doing Asian IPOs,
Hmm.
so that might be a catalyst for them to get some movement. Other than that, I'm still looking. I'll sit back and watch. I might. I didn't find what I was going to trade yesterday until a couple of minutes before the open, and that was pins. So,
Mm-hmm.
I'm still looking.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we'll add Neo on here, guys. Neo has been it's been good. It's been right now. They don't have great volume at the moment, but their pre-market action is okay. And again, today I don't see a lot that I like neither. As you can see on my list, not a whole lot on here. So we'll see. All right, let's get started here. What do we have? Let's start with Eric. You're giving us GameStop earnings. When are they doing earnings? GameStop. What do we have here? GME, let's put that right on here. Earnings is on the 23rd, today, after market. So right here, post-market earnings for GameStop. So that should be interesting. Looking forward to that. I'm gonna put it on here just so if we're still trading that late, we can see what happens with that one. We'll be on the lookout for that one. But again, just be careful. Of course. All right, heading down, we do have Microsoft. Let's take a look there. Microsoft this morning, big day yesterday. Again, a lot of tech companies doing very well yesterday. Microsoft was one of them. This morning, they are not doing a whole lot. 261,000 shares traded. I see what you're looking at. Possible breakout here on their choppy daily consolidation. They've been stuck between 230 and like 236 seems like. So if they can get going here, they definitely have some room to run. They got some most recent highs here they can hit. So that looks interesting. We can add some of the text here. I'm going to add Microsoft, and we'll also, I think Apple was really clean yesterday. Yeah, Apple was another one that was very, very clean. I think Apple could be actually Apple could be a main one today for me because I will be looking out for scanners as well. Again, I'm not liking what I'm seeing here a whole lot, so I'm going to be very, very patient in making sure I'm taking a look at the scanners and whatever we find within the chat room that is trading well today. So Microsoft is good. We'll put that on there. I like Apple a little bit better, but either one works. LI this morning, they're down 3.2, 1.4 million shares traded. Their pre-market action a little bit flat the last couple of hours. They were very active early this morning, as you can see the drop and the pop. Volume is there. Now, I know we traded this one before in the past. It actually can trade very clean. So interesting on the daily. And let's take a look at it. We'll come back to that one. Let's head on down. CMCSA.
And the Comcast, they've got zero volume and zero gap this morning, and they're a terrible day trading stock
Yes.
99% of the time.
Yeah, they do not trade well, even with a news behind it, with a catalyst. They're horrible price action. FCX this morning, not a whole lot of volume here, guys, and you can see this thing is a little bit choppy on the daily. So I do not like what I'm seeing here. I don't think this one is actually in play. Let's go down here. INTC on the daily. Let's take a look. Yeah, INTC, guys, daily looks amazing. Possible breakout here at about 66 or so. I won't say they're a horrible day trading stock, but they're not the best. They can be very choppy at times. You just got to be a little bit careful with it. But again, they look pretty good on the daily. Volume is not there, so I'm not going to add it for that reason. But thank you for pointing this out. If it breaks out in throughout the day, definitely give us a shout on the chat room, and we'll look for it in the scanners as well. Let's take a look at that. Here is Tesla. What is Tesla up to this morning? They're up 1.4. Let's get rid of some of these levels here, clean this up a little bit. So they're up 1.4 right now, 653. Not as clean pre-market action as we had yesterday. We'll put it as a possible for now. Head on down. UPST. You got to be careful with this one. I think it's very, very choppy. The spread is well, right now it's $1, but even at the market open, it's pretty bad. So I don't like the way this one trades at all. So yes, this daily looks great. I wish I would have bought at 90 and taken a partial now, but it's just, again, it's just very, very difficult to trade. So be very, very careful with this stock here. This chart looks good, but again, just the price action and the spread. If you get in here and it doesn't go your way and you're already behind, 50 cents, 30 cents, the minute you get into a trade, that's very tough to hold through that. So be mindful of that. Take that into calculations when you do take that trade. Here's UWMC. UWMC, I'm not seeing no volume there, so we'll skip on that one for now. Let's take a look at CCL. What are we getting here? CCL this morning, they are, oops, hold on. Let's make sure both charts are showing the same. Yep, here we go. CCL right now, down 1.7, 175,000. I do like this drop on CCL. I wish they had a little more volume. This could be interesting. Yeah, let's watch CCL today. Let's see if we're getting a drop here. I know the airlines took a hit yesterday, right? American Airlines took a bit of a hit yesterday, also down 2% this morning. Not great volume, but again, we were consolidating between 24.50 and 25.50 or so in here. We had a big drop yesterday, and today we're down. So this could be interesting if we continue this downtrend. We got a great level here at 22.46. So I'm gonna add American Airlines. I do want to see where this goes today. It is really not in play at the moment, guys, but I do love the daily. We're leaving this little island up here, so let's see if that's gonna continue to drop. All right, heading on down, Microsoft, we do have CAN. We did look at CAN earlier today. Yeah, it's okay. The daily is interesting. I'm not gonna add it to my list. I think it can be a little bit choppy today, but if it can get going, I'll look for in the scanners. You do have some areas here. It's probably one of the cleanest between this one and Mara. They're very clean Bitcoin type plays. So again, you got two really good levels on here. It's just the pre-market right now is very, very choppy at the moment. So, but that could be a good possible. Microsoft, we do have. That's good. A Bitcoin play, CAN, right? Yep, you can watch either one of those. I think Mara and CAN are usually the cleanest ones. CAN, you do have shares for sure with IB. Mara, you have with Mara as well, so that's pretty good. But look at the daily, though. If you look at the daily, CAN, it looks a lot cleaner. I do like this daily a lot more than Mara. All right, heading on down, let's take a look at a few more here. TXN. No volume. Is that Texas? Is that the Texas
Instruments?
Calculator?
Yeah. Texas calculator. Yeah, Texas Instruments. It's another one that does not trade very well intraday.
Does not.
That usually, they have earnings, and they're usually the first semi manufacturer coming out with earnings. I believe that's still the case. Anyway, they can tend, when that happens and they have a catalyst, they tend to move most of the semi market. Mm-hmm. I would much rather pick a different semi manufacturer to trade than TXN, even if TXN's the one that has the catalyst on it.
Yeah, they're very, very difficult. We've been through a couple of earnings, and they're
AMD,
great.
Yeah.
All right, guys, let's stop here. Let's take a look at what we have over on our YouTube chat. Let's start over here with Ions. I think we looked at Ions. What do we have going on? Ions is down 20%. Again, the volume is just so light at the moment. I think that can get better.
Flow.
Oh, say it again.
There's no order flow on.
Yeah, there's nothing going on this one, guys. So we'll keep it off the list for now. I'm with you. I do love this drop. I mean, down 20%. You can hopefully get some action, but it's just nothing happening at the moment. Let's take a look at BA. They are at the bottom of this consolidation or pop. They have this gap up that they did a couple of days ago. So that is interesting. As far as movement right now, it's very light. Only 100,000 shares traded. They're pretty much flat as far as gapping down. But I do like how they're sitting here on their daily. If they can lose this, it could possibly get going to some of these levels here. But at the moment, I'm not seeing anything great on it as far as volume and pre-market action. So I'll skip on it for now. BOGS, is that a ticker? No, that's not. BNTC, that's Bitcoin, I believe. Or is it something else? No, it's something else. BNT, they are up 140, 15 million shares traded. What's the float on this? What is this? BNTC. What do we got going on? BNTC. That's not coming. Oh, here it is. Oh, it's a
4
biotech.
million share biotech.
Yeah, it's a biotech. Their pre-market action is clean. Yeah, let's put it on here on the low flow side. BNTC is a biotech company, guys. So you guys know how those are. You got to be very, very careful. Float on this one is 4 million. So mindful of that. Right now, great volume. Couple of great pops here so far. So good pre-market action on this one. YVR, I think we do have that one. Yes, another low flow stock. This one's looking pretty good here. They're looking nicely. 4.2 up 16%. That is good. Microsoft, we do have on deck actually. UPSC, we talked about that one, guys. It's very difficult to trade. The spread on that is just brutal. Lots. This one is up 9.3, 356,000. What is the float on this one? Lots. Let's take a look here. 900. Nope, sorry. down here, 72 million shares flow. What do we have here as far as volume and pre-market action? It's definitely not a clean pre-market action, guys. You can see how choppy it is at the moment. That can get better at the market open, but I'm just not a fan of this daily neither. So I'm gonna take this off. I'd rather watch something that we have already on our list here. All right, a few more. PLL. What do we have? Oh no, that's not looking good. This has been traded, has a trading halt already here, it looks like, and it's just horrible right now. So not good there. TME. I think you meant GME or TME. If you meant GME, yeah, we do have the one here. They do have earnings after hours, after the market today. All right, last one, guys. JetBlue. What's going on with JetBlue? No, pretty much flat right now. I do have American Airlines here. They have a little bit more volume. I do like their daily, the bottom where they're hanging out here. So that could be interesting if we can get going towards the bottom. Like we did yesterday, had a very clean day towards a nice drop here. So we'll see. All right, that is what we have, guys. Let's go over to our community event, and we'll come back and fine tune this list.
All right, guys. Tonight, 5 p.m. Eastern, we've got Eamon talking about entries, exits, and partials, and how you should choose those areas, or at least how he does. Digging into that, very analytical mind. Should be a great webinar. We could all improve that. And then next week, we've got normal time. Note the special time, 5 p.m. tonight for Eamon's webinar. It'll be recorded, but since he is on the other side of the earth, we cut him a little bit of slack and only make it at like 2 in the morning instead of 4 in the morning for him. So anyway, 5 p.m. tonight for Eamon, and then next week at 8 p.m. Tuesday is Mike talking about transitioning from sim to live or live to sim, or I don't know, throwing in the towel, any of those things. So Mike will be talking about that next week. Then tomorrow night, 8 p.m. normal time, we're going to have town hall with Dr. Katz. It'll be him in a group discussion format with 2 traders from the chat, talking about issues that have helped them and held them back. And then next week, Mike's module 1 at 8 p.m. on Wednesday, defining yourself as a trader. Man, it's what happens when storms come through and keep you up half the night. BBT trade of the day. If you want to participate in this, trade of the day, trade of the week, take a screenshot of your best trade of the day, mark it up. Of course, it should have entries and exits. Mark it up with any commentary about the strategy, post it on Twitter, tag at BearBullTraders, at MikeB_BBT, and at NormBBT. Also use hashtags BBT Family, Daytrading, and Stock Market. We'll announce the winner each afternoon in the closing bell show and on Twitter, and then the team will vote over the weekend from all the trades of the day and announce the winner for trade of the week on Monday, the closing bell show and on Twitter. No, I've not been drinking this morning. If you would if you're watching on YouTube and like to try out the chat, you can use the promo code premarket24 to get a discount off the intro membership. 7 calendar days, 5 trading days in the room. Also, give you access to the technology and onboarding classes Monday night that Carlos, Mike, Kyle do live. And then also it doesn't turn into any other kind of membership or auto renew or anything like that. Also, you can still use promo code LUCK40 for the St. Patrick's Day promotion, 40% off the elite annual memberships.
All right, thank you, Norm, for that. All right, guys, let's get to it. Let's go through our list here. I have AMC on deck. They are 1.9 right now, 5.8, so that's good. I like their pre-market action, very clean this morning. Here is Neo. Neo at the moment looking interesting. Let's see what happens here. Apple, I do like Apple for the tech play for today. I also have Tesla here as well at the bottom. Not Tesla, excuse me, Microsoft for a tech play, a possible tech play. Had a big day yesterday, but I think Apple's the one I'm going to go with today. This is looking very good as far as pre-market action. Going green, looks like trying to get green here on the day. Here's LI. I have this one here as well. Interesting pre-market action. Let's see if we can get some good volume in here. CCL, I do like CCL and American Airlines today. Again, they were both very weak yesterday, so looking to see how that's going to end up as we move forward into this market open. As far as possible, I do have Tesla on here. I do have Mogo. This one not looking so good right now. So it's dropping back down to that previous close line. Here is Run. Why do I have Run here? Run, yeah, it's not still not looking great, guys. I mean, I do like the possible breakout, but even for a possible here, I don't like it as much. I'm gonna get rid of it. FREQ, I love this drop, guys. It's down 72%. But it again, it is a biotech company. You just got to be careful with these. I have a feeling this might be very choppy. I'm gonna wait for this to hit our scanners. I just don't like what I'm seeing on it right now, so I'm going to get rid of it. GameStop has earnings after the market bell, so we'll see how that plays out. And I have Microsoft here, as I mentioned earlier. A couple of low flow stocks looking good this morning. BNTX, this one is looking very nice right now. Good volume. YVR is looking a bit cleaner. I like this one. And we have ORMP. This one does have a catalyst on it. They're down 22% right now, but although they're dropped quite a bit, they have a great clean pre-market action, so I like that one also. And here's the madness of TCAT. Again, just be very, very careful with that one. So out of these, I think ORMP I do like. Let me see, YVRN, BNTC. I'm going to take out BNTC. Let's get rid of that one. YVR is so. I like ORMP out of all of them, but YVR is not bad. We'll keep that one too. And TCAT is just entertainment purposes, guys. I'm not going to be touching that. All right, let's get levels in here. Let's start with AMC. I do like the movement. 2 million shares on it this morning already. 1131 low of the pre-market right on here. Again, we've been dropping nicely after possible. It looked good on the daily. It looks like it was wanting to break out here. We're getting a nice rejection, and we see the last couple of days just really dropping really nice here. Towards the bottom, we do have another great level, which is the bottom of this consolidation here, back and forth between 1131 and 983. So we'll put a level there as well. That was also an area of great resistance. You can see right on here, a couple of days having a hard time getting above that 983. Later became support, and you can see here the ping pong action between 1131 and this one. So that's pretty good. Towards the top, guys, high of the pre-market at the moment, sitting at 1209. So right in here, we'll throw a level there. Oops, don't need that one there. Did I delete both of them? Yes, I did. Let's put that one back. 1209. There it is. And then above that, highs and lows from the last 2 trading days and previous day close got you covered there. So that's pretty good. Here is NEO. NEO right now, low of the pre-market sitting at 41.51. So we'll throw a level there. Pre-market action is okay. We seem better for sure. The volume is not quite there, but there's not a lot that looks great this morning. So we'll keep NEO on here. Let's see if NEO can get started and get going. Right now, towards the top, highs and lows from the last 2 trading days. Previous day close is pretty much the high of the pre-market right there, so you do not need to mark that down. And then outside of this range here, just look at the bigger picture. We have a level at 46.40, great area of resistance, prior support. And then towards the bottom below 40, which is your low from 2 days ago, we do have a great level right on here at 37.36, all the way down here at 35. And also 31.90. I don't think we'll see that today, but let's just throw it on there because it's so clean, that level that you're getting there on that daily. Here is Apple. Apple, again, big day yesterday, had a nice run. Today, they're kind of stuck between the previous day close and some of the highs and lows from the last 2 trading days in here. I am going to mark down the low of the pre-market 122.19, so that's a good one there. And then towards the top, if we're able to break out from the highs from yesterday and your pre-market high today, which is this one here, 123.69. Above that, what do we have in here as far as daily? It's got a good level. This one here looks very good. Couple of touches here. Yeah, 125.68 resistance. You got your previous day close, opening and closing right on here on this date. Big indecision there. And then you can see tons of resistance happening around that area in a couple of days in this range here, right? So a couple of days now to get above that, and then a little bit of support happening on the 22nd of February as well. So plenty of levels here on Apple, guys. I do like the way this thing ended yesterday. It is trying to go green, having a little bit of a tough time right now, dancing with the previous day close line. Let's see what happens there. Here is LI. So LI's daily is a little bit all over the place. We do have a consolidation happening right on here between, what is this, 24.57, and the top of this range is 26.35, right? So we're coming up against that one more time. Do we have the strength to really get going and break out of that? If we do, that would be very, very nice. I know we're down 3% this morning, but it'll be great to see this breakout through that. If it cannot do that, we also have some opportunities towards the bottom, guys. Low of the 2 days ago, sitting right here at 24.50, the low of the pre-market all the way at 24.04. We did an insane reversal pop here very early on this pre-market. We've been pretty much flat the last couple of hours, so that has not been fun. We kind of got to wait for the volume to come in here and get this thing going one way or the other. That could be interesting. So as far as levels, we got 2404 in between here. This daily is not the best. I'm going to put a minor area of support and resistance here, guys. There's 2451. You got a couple of days opening and closing right on. There's not a major level like the 2404 or your 27 up here, your previous day close line. But at least we have something in there. I think there's a couple of days there touching that. That could be interesting. All right, CCL this morning, they are looking pretty good pre-market. I wish they had a little more volume, but that's okay. Low of the pre-market, 2630. You can see a great area of support right on here. In a couple of days, it's bouncing off of that. Below that, you have another area over here at 2518, and very clearly over here, obviously 2327, another one possible level of support as well. Towards the top, previous day close, highs and lows from the last 2 trading days. Pretty much got you covered here. Although we don't have great volume, I do like their pre-market action this morning. We're down 1.5. We're as low as 26. What's this? Pre-market low 2634. So we can move this up a little more. But again, nice little bounce here the last couple of minutes on the last couple of hours on CCL. Here's American Airlines, very similar situation. Also had a very bad day yesterday. 23 is the low of the pre-market at the moment. Above that, highs and lows from the last 2 trading days. And below this 23, a very, very clean level of resistance that can now become support at 2246. A great level there. Highs and lows above that. The previous day close is basically your pre-market high. I think you're pretty much covered there as far as levels. Moving sideways a bit here, so not a whole lot going on. Very similar to CCL. They used to have a lot more volume. But let's see where that goes today. It will be interesting to see how the market trades this morning and how these are going to react to whatever the market does. All right, that is what I have, guys. Looking forward to see what our moderators have today, because I have a list, but it's not great. It's not the best list ever. So we got to keep that in mind. Got to be very patient at the market open with things moving one way or the other. All right, let's bring in our list here. We'll start with Thor. Let's bring this over here. You guys should be able to see that right there. All right, so Thor, he's watching Microsoft, LI Neo, CCL, and NCLH. Tiffany's looking at not loving anything. Yeah, I agree. It's just not a whole lot that looks great. Possibilities, Apple, Neo, Tesla, and CCL. I agree with all of those. Jared, Apple, and Microsoft, also Neo and XPEF. On the energy sector, more downside possible. Looking for the bounce in the next few days. Guys, make sure you're not missing Engineering the Markets with Jared starting at 8 a.m. right in this channel. Over on YouTube, and also in our chat room. We'll open up at 7:30. You can look at the scanners at that time, and then we go live at 8 a.m. with Jared. Dima, she is looking at MU, AMD, XPEF, and Run. Eamon likes Microsoft, MRO, Baba, secondary list, Baidu, QCOM, and MU. Mike, you're looking at Microsoft and Facebook. Also keep an eye on the scanners. And IPOs for today, UPC plus an impressive 13 SPACs that will not track. Thank you, Peter. So we'll see how that plays out. My watch is AMD. Do not know anything else yet. Again, it's one of those days, guys, where not a lot looks great. You got to be very, very patient. Secondary list, RLX, Apple, and Microsoft for him this morning. All right, excellent. Bring this right back. We have Brian coming in with his list. And Brian is watching Microsoft, LI, Neo, MU, and YVR. YVR is very good this morning. I do like that one for a low flow stock today. All right, that is our lineup, guys. That is what we have. Quick recap. We have AMC. I do like the pre-market action on this one. I like the daily. Just be careful on it. It is on short selling restriction. Let's see what it does today. Could be interesting. Here's Neo. I have that one also. See if that can become explosive. Apple has an amazing pre-market action. Probably one of the best pre-market actions this morning. Had a great day yesterday. So that'll be my tech play for today. LI, again, just want to see where this goes today. Not doing a whole lot right now. The last couple of an hour or two just been pretty much flat, but we'll see what happens there. CCL and American Airlines are my travel plays for today. Looking to see if they're going to be weak and start breaking down some of these levels. Right now, they're putting in a bit of a bounce, especially CCL. We'll see at the market open how the SPY and the overall market is going to be. The Qs, we'll keep an eye on how things are trading and how that is going to affect some of these stocks we're watching. So again, not a blockbuster list today, guys. So you got to be very, very careful. Be patient with the process. Wait for good, clean setups. If you get stopped out 2 or 3 times in the same stock, just take a break from it. Look at a bigger time frame. What is the stock doing? Wait an hour or two. You never know. Things might need to settle down. Sometimes we see stocks at the open. They have a lot of indecision. They're just chopping around. And then at around 11:30, when reversal starts happening, double bottoms, double tops, you can catch a beautiful play. So you do not have to force a trade in the first hour, and a half, if there's nothing there showing a good opportunity for you. So that's even more important on days like yesterday and days like today. So again, be very, very cautious that things are not looking good. So you might not find a trade, and that's okay. All right, just be mindful of that. What you do not want to do is force something and end up, getting frustrating and being red for the day. So very important. Guys, with that said, up next will be Brian taking us through his watch list and what he's looking at this morning, what he likes. We will see you guys tomorrow at 8 a.m. in the morning. Take care, trade safe, and have a good one, everyone.